Okay, guys, so I'm back with a look at crude. You guys saw the poll results. So it was a tie between crude and the Nasdaq. Now we've been through both of these here relatively recently, so not a dramatic change here. Although we've got some geopolitics now affecting the price movement here in crude. So potentially now there's a relabeling here, and given where we are now, we've just broken through the golden zone on this retrace. It kind of makes you look at it and just kind of reevaluate the whole thing and say, is there another way I could be looking at this? Because right now, so we do have, the larger context here. We could have an A, B, C, but this 5 here is so incredibly solid that I think this is hard to dispute here. So we're to the tick here on the right where we'd expect it between the 23 and 38, and we get the algo target to the tick, and then talk about a reaction, right? So, and then I think I've shown this as well. So coming down to that hitting that target, pulling from this pivot here. So we come right to the golden zone, right? We get just a couple of ticks inside of it. Note here how that aligns with this prior structure here, these pivots here. Prior support offering the resistance, and then we get this potential would suggest a move down here, but look where that is. It's 650, so it doesn't seem likely. But if you're just trading it by the book, this 3 wave here looks like it's correcting that 5. But then you look here and you say, well, if that's an ABC of the larger degree here, is there a way to get something impulsive here? Well, given that structure, I think that seems less likely. So we got to look for what would make more sense. So right inside this, you guys seen this a couple of times here. This set of median lines just tag 1, 2, 3, 4. Finally, that can't get there, and that's where it rolls over. So I guess we'll take some of this off here because we've been through much of this now. So let's think about an alternate. So one thought that occurs to me, because we've gone so far here, and I know you can't see in there, but looking at the larger degree here, because an impulse coming down seems hard to reconcile crude at that level. So I'm going to take this off just for a bit here and say, okay, what else could be going on here? Well, it occurs to me that we could have something of a larger degree happening like this. We could have an A, B, and a C up here. Now let me go, we'll do it this way. So let me go to another color here just so we keep it straight. So it seems like it's possible here we could be in the process of doing something like this. So if we've got an A down, maybe, now we'll get into that count in a second. We're going to put in, assuming we don't violate that high by too much here. If we're going to do something in this range, we might come down here, and then we'd be looking for something more bullish to perhaps come up here and complete a larger ABC at this degree. Maybe. Right? It's, when you come out to this level, it's hard to see another. Look how crude, boy, when it comes down. Well, when it goes up and when it comes down, right? These moves are just incredible, right? These just straight down, straight down, straight down, but now going straight up, right? So this just the volatility is insane in crude. For what it's worth, I do not trade in here. I shouldn't say that. I don't trade in here. I don't take things overnight that are unhedged in the shit happens line of thinking. I'd rather pay for the insurance overnight if I'm so inclined with a count that I want to take it into a longer term trade. So I think you got to be careful in here, right? So you can see, right, this kind of volatility can be pretty gnarly in here. So you got to trade cautiously in crude. Now let's see. I'm on a 3-day here, trying to get a sense of where we could be. So a couple things of note here. So I've showed you this was at a golden zone. Here on this side, coming back the other way, we've had a break here. Now that's a 3-day chart, so it looks smaller than it is. It's almost a full point, so that would definitely a break. But now we've broken coming back the other way. So we have algos getting kicked out on either side, right? So one side breaks, the other side breaks. Now there is a tendency, you got to watch for this. There are times where you'll see an equal break, right? So it will break for the exact same distance here that it'll break for here. I don't know that the subdivision here we can reconcile with that. It's just a point to bring to your attention here. If I get that right on there here. So here's the break. So the low is 43.80, and the 65 is 43.85, and then we get to 42.28. So it's a pretty substantial break, right? So let's get this out of here, right? So just that's, I'm just trying to think through some alternates here as to what we could be doing that would make more sense with just the broader, the economics of where we might anticipate seeing crude go. So this ABC pretty solid here. Now, what are we doing here? So it's much like it's very similar to the Nasdaq and the S&P, where we've had these correction, or they're just a little more complexity to it in the Nasdaq and the S&P, but straight down. So we're just making a V turn here. Remarkable, really. Well, so let's look into that subdivision. So I'm going to go to a 4-hour here and see if we can get any clarity into this. It's not an easy count, right? So again, now we've done this a couple of times here. So I think, so here's the golden zone. We've just broken through that here just in the last 24 hours. Well, shit, when did we break it? We broke that a couple of days ago here. So we've been beyond that. So I'm going to pull these off of here since they're not helping us much here. So the subdivision here, this is the deepest retracement, slightly longer than this here. So if this is going to trade as an ABC, well, it's not much of a B, or relatively speaking to norms, right? So we don't even make the 38. First target, second target. I mean, we're really ripping here, and there's just been very little in terms of a retrace to jump on board here. So even this, right, there's 50 to the tick. Not bad here. So if that's 1, 2, we're 50 to the tick. First target, third target. So it makes you think 1, 2. Where's the 3? Well, if we get into that subdivision, you want to think that we're done here, right? So that would be so you guys know where I'm going here. That's our shorthand for the 1618. Now it's not quite on it here because we bounced at the 50, not the 618. So here's that probability zone for the third, but it looks like, given the subdivision, that's got to be the third of the third. So we're in the process of doing 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2 looks like 3. Maybe here I'm on a 4-hour here. Maybe we're going up to get the 5 here of the third of this degree, right? So let me pull some of this off here, and this. Now established. So good contender here for my 2, given the perfect 50. So we know an algo grabbed that. So then we look here. Let's pull this off. Okay, 1 ABC looks like it. So then just same stuff, guys, right? Just as we would with any 1, 2, just trying to get a handle. Maybe there's some help here for where to expect the third. Well, here's 100%. Now it's possible that we've got more to go here. That this is not in as the third, that could be this could be the third of the third of the third, but I'm not ready to go there just yet here. So my hesitation being that we don't, relative to the 1, 2, we're not in a traditional spot here for a 3. This would be more common, but I'll leave this here for the time being until I see evidence to the contrary. So 1, 2, well, so let's look at both of them together. So if this is, come here. So if this is 1 and that's 2, well, here, as we just noted, so here's the 2618 is up here. So if that's going to go that far here, well, we're going to need some real legs here in the 5 at this degree. So I don't know that we've got all of that into it. Some of these spots here. So obviously I'd be reluctant to be a buyer or a seller here. So we're kind of in no man's land. So we're still ripping higher. This channel seems to be holding it pretty well here. 1, 2, of course, where are we, right? So given the bullish move here, I'd be looking for, I would wait for this pivot, give me something like this, maybe come down here, and we're going up for that to try and get that. So let's pull all this off here and see if that would make sense. This is the only one I'm a little suspect of. I don't see another. This is a little iffy here, but you have a 4, 5 there, A, B. It's just straight, right? It's just, other than your 2 here, it's really your best guesstimate as to how to work the subdivision. The 5 off of the B, pretty solid here. Now we do get a double top. So 1, 2, 3, 4. Man, you know, again, I'm on a 4-hour here, so you can get the 5 of the 5 in that to give us that 1 relative to this move here. So I can complete here. I'm just trying to look if there's 1, 2. Shit. Yeah, I think that's the better play here because that ABC is solid. So, and that's a perfect 50 off of this pivot. So I think we can lean into that 1, 2, but then coming off of it, we've got to go 1, 2 yet again, given where we are here. Now this potentially, now there is the potential to move this up here, but right now that looks more like the 4, 5. Not really dramatic divergence here. We're getting a little bit as we put in new highs here, and we're not getting that in the oscillator here. It's not dramatic, so let me tighten that up a little bit. So we don't have, certainly not dramatic divergence here. You can see it in the RSI a little bit as well here. So it's right. So this can certainly stay pinned up here. So we have that to deal with. You know, that's until you see we're still going up here now. So this could change. This could all continue to go here. This could keep going here. So it's, you know, you got to be a little bit cautious here. There would need to be more there than just the potential for some divergence for me to be looking at a short here. So since we're just running here, yeah, so I would not be looking for the sell side here. So maybe if we had the bounce here, but we know this was the golden zone here. So that was the potential for the short. Maybe you had a play here, but now that we're moving here and we've got, as I mentioned here, so geopolitics, you know, affecting what's happening here. You know, when you have that kind of move happening, that kind of wild card in the whole thing makes me a little uncomfortable to be in here. So if we're going to get 3, 4, 5, let's bring this. Oh, we'll put it in. Let's go to blue here. So if this is 1, 2, 3's going in, 4, 5, we're still looking for the 5. Let's take that up a degree. We're looking for the 5 of the 3rd at this degree. All right, so something along these lines, and then, you know, given what kind of price action we're seeing here. Whoops. Let's go see if I can do it in 2 hours. Off of this, right? You know, so the only thing that I really see here as a potential trade here is to trade the 4 into the 5. You know, I just don't like to be in here. So my view is, for me personally, right? So a lot of times I'm just giving you what I would do. Because I'm pumping here, well, that's the wrong word. Because I've got buyers overwhelming sellers here with geopolitics fueling this, I'm a little uneasy here because that can get, these are variables here that, of course, we have no control over. It could, a couple of politicians decide they're tired of higher crude prices, and thing comes down pretty hard, or vice versa. A couple of people decide they like crude prices higher, and we just continue to rip. So I'm ill at ease in crude for the most part, right? I don't like to trade this short term. I don't mind the longer term where I can hedge something here. It's so dangerous to trade in here. It's not my favorite market to trade. I will trade it, and I have traded. I think I've told you guys the story before. Biggest loss of my entire career was in a short option spread in crude. So that I still feel the burn of that whenever I'm looking at crude. I'll never forget it. So I'm cautious in here, but if I were going to look to do something, so the next trade that I would consider here, I would consider the 4 into the 5, but I would not do it without a hedge. Right? It's just this, again, this from my experience here. I wouldn't do this without a hedge. I'd want something to protect the opposite side of the trade. So if I'm a buyer here, I might use it with a combination of options or maybe synthetic futures, or even if I were just a buyer, I wouldn't just buy it without an option to hedge the downside. That's just me, guys. Right? It's just me based off my trading experience. The subdivision is not great because we're a little bit unsure about this B because of the shallowness of it, and we're just ripping straight higher. So there's nothing really to lean into on the buy side other than you're buying momentum. right? You have definitely broken the algo that was there. So from this, from this pivot up here to here, right? So buy side breaks. So we know what's the algo going to do next, right? So they're going to take the next 50, but we got to be thoughtful about what kind of 50 they're likely to take, right? So the one that we know they'll take, right, is the dominant, right? So from this to if and whenever we get a pivot up here, that 50 that's high probability you're going to see a reaction there. But we don't know where this tops, right? We don't know where this in is going to be here. We're going to complete the 5 here, something like this. Where's that 50 going to be? We don't know. Right, so here I don't think you have a high probability trade here to be a buyer. And you know, you're a little early for, I wouldn't sell it myself, right? So we're just going straight up. I wouldn't sell it, but this that would attract my eye. Right? I'd be interested in the 4 to the 5 here. As I said, again, for me, I don't do it without a hedge. So yeah, sorry guys, this is just I have such a bad taste in my mouth from getting actually absolutely wrecked in crude that I'm always reluctant to be in here. So if you're trading this now, if you're long, right, it's you know, you're probably pushing your luck a little bit here to be, you know, certainly I'd be trailing if you're in the futures market, I'd be trailing with a stop. You know, at some point here, there's likely to be some profit taking because, well, shit, what have we done here from 42 and we're up now at 66? And there's going to be, right, there were buyers down here, buyers here, so when we just looked at this algo here, is already to and through targets here. So at some point here, there's likely to be some sort of profit taking that's going to create a retracement. Right now, we have no idea when shit could be $100 before we see that. We don't know, but odds are at some point here, the temptation to take profit is going to be overwhelmed. Now, we got crude oil inventories later, middle of the week as well. So you've got some things that can spark this, you know, either direction. So I don't see that you're in a spot here where there's a new trade. I sure as hell wouldn't sell it here, but I wouldn't buy it until I see this kind of pattern shape up. So fuck, man, there you go, guys. Right? It's probably not the best market for me to analyze, right? Because I'm just been forever scarred from that experience. So I would just be very careful in here. Right? Let's just say that this is a highly volatile, very difficult market to trade. Unless you specialize in crude, I'd approach with caution, right, for what it's worth. All right, guys, that's all I got today. Talk to you later.